Last year, 2017, I came up with a one-word mission statement called Unlimited. And I chose this one-word mission statement because I was coming on a year that I'd actually thought a lot about. It was going to be a milestone year for me, turning 50 years old. So I wanted to take a one-word statement to demonstrate the life I was trying to live in that year. And it was a pretty profound thing. There are two kinds of limiting beliefs that hold us back. And one is external sources that are family, friends, peers, people that may love us, but they don't understand what we're doing. So they say things like, "What are you doing? Have you thought about what you're doing? You've never done that before. And maybe you don't have a degree in that." So these are limiting things. And then there's the internal, which is even worse sometimes. The internal things that we say to ourselves, it's the inner voice. And so that inner voice sometimes says, "What are you doing? You don't have a degree in that. You've never done this before." And then it gets worse. You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. So what I'm doing here is actually a brain hack, and there's science in this. And what I'm trying to do is, when I start to say something to myself that's going to limit me, then I'm creating reaction because I don't want to feel that snap every time. So I'm literally trying to rewire neurons the way they fire information so that it fires the way that I want. And that is that I can do it. I don't have to know how to do it as long as I notice I can find somebody that can do it. So let me take you back in time a little bit. August 2nd, 1988, I sit down and plan my career, and I wrote down all the goals that I wanted to accomplish by May 18th, 2017. And so I wanted to memorialize this plan by planning my 50th birthday party. So at 22 years old, I picked a venue, which was the Fountain Blue in Miami. Right across the street there was a very nice boat dock, and I've just said I want to have a very nice boat sitting there, take all my friends and family out on my birthday. So I put myself to sleep every night through my 20s, my 30s, a lot of my 40s, thinking about that day. And I used to just visualize walking out of the hotel and seeing that boat sitting across the street with all my friends and family waiting to receive me on there. And on May 18th, 2017, made it happen. So after spending all that time walking out to see that boat, I was like, good Lord, man, I've thought about this for a long time. And so I shared the goals that I wrote with everybody. That's a picture of them over there on the table that night. But it was an amazing thing to have happen. And what I want to share with you is a little bit about what I've learned in the last 29 years in starting 11 companies and things that I felt were limiting me or holding me back. I like to tell the story of Medicare.com because when I bought that in 2000, a lot of people didn't quite understand what domains were really going to do, I feel like. And I had a very successful entrepreneur, a very successful investor look at what I was working on, and he says, "So let me give you some advice. Sell that domain for $14,000 and call it a day." So that was a bit limiting. So I didn't really take his advice, but I actually did take part of his advice. I did sell it. I sold it some years later, and we recorded the 8th largest domain sale in history for $4.8 million. and it was a good day. So the point of that story is that very smart people aren't going to understand what you're doing. So you have to know your own direction, and you have to know what you're doing. You have to know the direction you're going and believe in yourself and do it. So as smart as they are, it doesn't mean that they're right. The second is, I'd say a few years ago, several years ago actually, I got invited to Necker Island to meet Richard Branson. And it was pretty exciting. It was pretty cool hanging out down there. I took my drone. He loved me bringing my drone. I took more drone footage of Necker than just about anybody, according to the staff there. And then on my 49th birthday, I spent that with Richard on Necker Island. And we were having breakfast. So I slid my phone over to him, and I said, Richard, I've put a video together of all the footage that I've done while I was here. And he watched it. He goes, he loved it. So he loved it so much that he posted on Virgin's blog about me being there and put a link to the video, which ended up getting all this traffic. So about 3 months later, I'm in Alaska, literally chasing humpback whales with my drone up the coast. And I got an urgent email from the office, and it says, Tony Robbins wants to meet Bill, exclamation point, exclamation point. And I was like, okay. So next thing you know, I'm having dialogue with Tony Robbins, and he says he loved what the video I did, and he said, can you come to Fiji, spend a day with me? I want you to understand my vision for this resort that I'm building, and maybe can you do a corporate video for us? Could you manage getting all the photographers here? Can you do all the post-production? And this is not something that I do. And I said yes. I'm not going to limit myself because I don't know how to do something. When opportunity presents itself, then act on it and figure it out later. That is right out of his own playbook as well as Richard's. And so the point of that is literally act on the opportunity when it comes. So these are the points that I've come up with that I kind of live by. Even if you were to take those and put it to work, you might see a difference. But the first being, I am the only thing between me and my success. I mentor a lot of founders, a lot of startups, and before I begin working with anybody, the first thing that we have to agree on is that the only thing between me and success is me. And if they accept that, then we're going to have a good relationship. That means no blaming it on the person that you hired because that's your deal. It means a lot. So the second is eliminate negative self-talk. Only good lies before me. If you assume that good lies before you, then very likely good will happen. And if you're a person that's looking for bad to happen, it's out there. You'll find it. So 3 is have a mind that's open to everything and attached to nothing. That's no belief systems. That's no politics. That means that you blend in to your environment and your surroundings and the people in order to understand and observe the situations that you're in. Because when you're observing, you're less emotional. And then 4, there are no mistakes. There are only divine lessons. And divine lessons lead to expansion. So last is nothing stays the same and everything is in a constant state of becoming. And this is what I refer to this as dancing with change, because change is a normal part of our lives and what's happening. And when you dance with it and flow with it, then you're now syncing up. When we resist these things, that's where stress comes from. So in closing, I will leave you with the words of the late, great Bruce Lee. And that is that be like water. Or you put the water in a bottle and it becomes the bottle. You put water in a teacup and it becomes the teacup. You put water in your hand and it becomes the hand. So be like water, my friends, and be unlimited.